welcome back to my channel. Shireen here. First of all, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. This is a dream come true. I could never in a million years imagine when I made my first video that we would be coming here and we would become a family of over 1,000 people. I cannot even imagine 1,000 people around me, but yeah, thank you so much for that. And today's video is of course the much awaited and requested how to do a mock analysis video, and today I'm going to give you some general tips and tricks regarding that. But before we go for the mock analysis, let's first talk about why you should attempt mocks. So one thing that you need to understand when it comes to CLAT is that CLAT is a very practice-based exam, unlike JEE or NEET. Now, of course, those exams are also kind of practice-based and skill-based, but they have a predetermined syllabus. So what that means is that they do, like, if you have the knowledge of the topics that are being taught in an exam like JEE or NEET, you can still clear it without giving, let's say, a proper JEE paper or something. But when it comes to CLAT, the entire drill of CLAT is essentially being able to manipulate and use your time in that 2 hours to effectively make sure that your accuracy and your time management is good enough for you to clear the CLAT exam is not really, contrary to popular, it's not about how smart you are, it's not about how hardworking you are. It's really at the end of the day about how you can effectively manage your time and also make sure that your accuracy is proper. So those are the two important key terms that you need to remember for this video. Therefore, if you have not started CLAT mock tests, please start as soon as possible. And as of right now, you have like less than 3 months left. So just start. At least 2 mocks a week is definitely mandatory, and mock analysis is even more mandatory. Again, because this is not a concept heavy paper, so you don't have to like read and study a lot, but you have to make sure that every time you give a mock, you learn something out of it. Also, just a side note, your mock test scores are going to fluctuate, so do not take them too seriously, because as I've told you in the past also, mocks are meant to mock you, so definitely keep that in mind. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Smartkida.com. They are a leading platform in different sort of mock tests and different exams. I have been sponsored by them in the past, but this video is specifically more exciting because they have slashed their prices to by a lot. I don't even know what percentage, because their lowest mock test series now starts from 99 rupees only. I'll scoot over the details here, and you get full length mock tests, you get analysis, plus you also get their bi-monthly magazine called LawX completely for free. So this one, you can just go to the website and just take that magazine. So for all those people who are in the last leg and they're like, suddenly they have woken up and realized they want to give CLAT, definitely run over and buy. It's not a big investment, so that's great for you guys. And the quality of their mock tests are actually very good and very similar to CLAT paper. They also provide PDFs, which is very great, so I would actually suggest you to download those PDFs, print them out, give the mock, and then put the answers in the mock test interface, so you can get the analysis. So that will save you some time as well, if instead of doing physically. If you actually go through their analysis section, it's actually very detailed. They tell you your strong and weak sections, they give you a performance graph, they also have all the areas to show you about your speed, your accuracy as well. So this is actually a very good sort of place to get your analysis, a very in-depth analysis. You learn from the bi-monthly magazine of LawX. They have these specific tests of those current affairs that you can give to test your knowledge, so that's great for revision as well. They have a lot of other things that they're also providing you, including sectional tests. So definitely go over to Smartkida. Plus, with Shireen10, which is my code, you can get 10% off of already what is a very subsidized rate. So definitely don't forget to check Smartkida out. And even if you have other mock test series and stuff, definitely buy this. This is very the price is so reasonable. It's not even reasonable, it's amazing. It's an amazing amount of price, so you can actually just go and invest in this and see what this is about, and you get some really good features. So yes, now moving on to how to analyze your CLAT mock test. The first thing you need to keep in mind, as I already said, is first your accuracy and then your attempts. So now again, you might have an overarching problem, let's say, with accuracy. You might see that a lot of your answers are wrong and are being marked wrong. But it can also be that specific section wise you have certain you have like an attempt problem. So maybe in some sections you have a very good attempt and in some sections you have a very poor attempt, but in the overall thing it's showing it's an accuracy issue. So you have to look at each section separately and see, okay fine, what is my problem with this section? Is it an accuracy problem or is it an attempt problem? So you have to find that out individually for the sections. Don't think attempt problem will be as much of an issue now, because CLAT now the number of questions have come down, so chances of you not being able to complete a huge part of the 120 questions is a lot less, unless they're giving you a very hard paper. But the accuracy problem will of course still be there for most people. Now one of the best tips with related to accuracy is to try to see I changed the order of your sections. So I'll give you an example of my own order that I had in the past and what I changed and how that affected my scores. So the way I would attempt my mocks in the initial days would be English, GK, legal reasoning, maths, and then critical reasoning. And that was working for a lot while, and until my numbers, like my marks, kind of started stagnant, and I was like, what is wrong? My attempts are fine, but my accuracy is getting like really bad. So I ended up changing it to a different order. So and the other part was, often I would also have an attempt issue because I would get too stuck up in the maths, and because of that I would not be able to come to the critical reasoning, and then of course my accuracy related to critical reasoning would definitely come down. So what I ended up doing is I changed it to first doing critical reasoning, then doing English, then doing GK, then doing legal reasoning, and then doing maths. Now I'll explain to you why the system worked. First of all, I personally think critical reasoning does require you to think a little bit and have your brains being very active. So I would personally suggest you to do it in the first half of the paper, because what happens most of the time is by the time you're in the second half, you've already lost your attention span. We have very less attention span in this generation anyways, and you just don't know how to go about it, and your brain doesn't function. So I would actually suggest you to keep something like English or legal reasoning in the second half, where you're not having to think too much about it. Most of the stuff is already present, so you can just like match and just do the thing. So that is what I would recommend. Now when it comes to critical reasoning, so that is what I did with critical reasoning. Then I did English, because English is an easy section for me, unless in the CLAT, in the actual CLAT paper, English was actually my worst section, but that's a whole different story. And then after that, doing GK is a good idea to just relieve your mind of so much of reading. And then the reason I did maths in the last was because what was happening is that I would get so lost in the maths, and I would try to like make sure that my maths is correct, that I would lose the bigger picture, and I would just end up like doing maths, let's say, for 30 minutes, and then I would have no time to do the last section. So that is the reason I bumped maths to the last, and I was like, you know what, if I finish one set of maths, that's fine. If I finish two sets of maths, that's fine. So that was how I was doing the thing with maths. So this is what I would say is the main part of analysis. And the other part is, if you're having a lot of issues with accuracy, it could also be because you don't have your concepts clear. So the best way to do that is, if you see, let's say there's a para on theft and on illegal reasoning, and you made a lot of mistakes related to that. See, what is that mistake? It is because you read something wrong. Sometimes it has happened to me that I read an entire para and I read one particular part of that para wrong, and because of that wrong thing that I had read that was registered into my mind, I made all the I did all the 5 questions wrong. So was it something like that? Of course, then that's an attention issue. You have to fix that issue. That you have to understand, this is really important. And I kind of blame the coaching institutes a little bit for this, but what happens is sometimes they teach you too much, and what ends up happening is you take all of these previous knowledge, and when you enter into the exam hall, you don't look at the paragraph. Maybe the para is saying something completely opposite to what is actually true in real life, but you still have to apply whatever it says in the para. So if the para, let's say, says theft is and then defines robbery, you have to accept that to be true. So please understand that aspect. So another thing that you can do with regards to that is, you can go to the to each question and see what is the logic. Even if it's a right question or it's a wrong question, see what is the logic and why have you come to that conclusion. So that is really, really important. And see if the logic that you use, even in your correct answer, is matching with the logic that the paper maker has given. So that will help you to understand whether you're going in the right track or not. And of course, you have to do that for even your wrong answers. So these were all of my tips and tricks for mock analysis and making sure that you increase your marks. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you for 1000 subscribers. Don't forget to check Smartkida out. And yeah, so bye, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.